Eh. Hello. Good evening. Day 45. Man alive. Baby, it's Valentine's. And I was going for something of a Buffy meets Barbie meets Baby Spice meets Sugar and Spice and everything very, very nice meets your girl Aphrodite. And this is my cuz, Cupid. You know, he's kind of stupid. I do all the work. And Aphrodite just got livid, you guys. I mean, if I was the real gal, the goddess of love and stuff, I'd be smiting and smoting people all over the place, and they'd have no dates and no nookie, because I just got downright angry, y'all. This is the third time this has happened to me. My phone is 4 years old, so in this day and age that makes it obsolete and ancient. So I'm playing a data shuffle game now, whereupon if I don't shuffle properly from the day before and the day before that with my poetry and make the little crevices of room in my phone, it just gets me almost to the very end of my piece like I just did Deja fucking Boo, and cuts it off. No trace of the footage whatsoever, just poof, gone. Like a love that wasn't. Like a kiss stolen in the night. And golly, was I frightfully rageful about it. But I'm here anyway. I put on these little star, freckle, speckled, dappley doos for you. Hopefully you can appreciate that the goddess Aphrodite would, of course, only freckle in star form. Stardust or nothing. Stardust or bust. Yeah, so I got pretty angry just now, but we're back. I'm gonna say the things again. I said so many cute things, guys. It's just there's a little bit of anger just bubbling still to the surface. I just said so many clever things about Cupid here. I'm going to attach a time-lapse video I made transforming him from clinging to the nostalgic remains of Christmas into the lovely creature of love you see before you. But I don't even think I have time to tell you the whole mannequin story again. I'll just have to dress him up. I'll just have to dress him up again and tell you his backstory, because I went all into it, friends. And now it's gone. It's lost to the ether of nothingness in the jamble wires of Matrixville. But staying in character, making things cute as I do, I made this for Aphrodite's favorite perfume. You'll notice it's the potent variety. Potent or nothing, baby. So yeah, just a little smooch, smooch, smooch. Just a little dabble, do ya? Did you know that the French women, they use their juices, their juices as perfume? It is old tradition. Do you know this? No? When I heard that, I thought, wow, I really am a French bitch, aren't I? I like that. Love the hairy armpit thing. You know I'm down for that. And I love that they do that. It's quite seductive and sultry and steamy and sumptuous even. I like all those things. So yes, naturally I wanted to bring you this PSA for heartbeats earlier in the day, much earlier, so you could enjoy it on the holiday, as damn well you should be able to. But you know, just like, you know, it takes more effort than you would think. Actually, a substantial, buck wild amount of effort, in fact, to look even moderately badass for a YouTube video. And I would say I'm at least at a level 2 badassery, wouldn't you? including these here boots. That's how you do, that's how you prove that you're fucking Aphrodite. You gotta have some crazy fucking boots. So I do. Got this little crown situation. Got fucking butterflies in my hair, people. Maybe my crazy mood lends itself better to this. But yeah, this outfit is pretty wily. Pretty wicked and wily. So as I said, this is my cousin, Cupid. He's got many accoutrements. He's even fitted with, you have to see, he got some neck smooches. Ooh, hey, cuz. Pretty scandalous, cuz. But I love the little details. The devil is in the details, they say. But I thought I would give these to my old cuz Cupid, cuz he's quite an ornery fucker sometimes, isn't he? Just carries out his own wishes at will. He's got his quiver, you'll see, to right into your unsuspecting heart. That's right. He's got these wings, genuine, feathery, maybe synthetic feathers, I don't know. Maybe real ones. Seems like it. But he's got those from the dollar store when I was 6 years old, and I still have them. You've got me. I've been gotten. But yes, I've had those wings since the age of 6. I made these when I was Miss Cupid, back when I was a cute, apple-cheeked, rosy, unsuspecting little hostess, getting hit on by creepy old doctors and stuff, getting wasted on margaritas. So, because I like to feed into the saucy gal kind of thing at that time. For one Halloween, I was Jessica Rabbit, and the next one, I was Miss Cupid, shooting it straight. Or, not so straight in my case, but shooting them many directions. However you slice and dice it. This is a special little piece of show and tell. A dear friend of mine who looks like a lovely and wondrous Disney princess. She really does. She has those eyes that you're like, are you an animation? I think you might be. My wings are trying to interfere with the Beethoven. Aphrodite's wings do that. But so she was asked by her husband to get rid of all the weird things in their house, which makes me sad when people feel the need to grow up so much that they rid themselves of weirdness. But you've got to do what you've got to do. And lucky for me, I'm usually the recipient of said trash bag wonders full of weirdness. So this was one of those things. The bottle was mine. It kind of looks like a grenade. It is in fact an old perfume bottle, but it looking like a grenade is fitting, because love is our battlefield. Wouldn't you say? I would absolutely. It's quite magical though, because not only is it a real rose, how tripadelic is that? Yes, real rose dipped over in like gold and metal and stuff, and lined ever so delicately with just a zhuzh of gold around the edges. And miraculously enough, they made it smell like a real rose somehow. I just think that that's quite a thing indeed. Guess I'll have to redo this whole part. Maybe some of my parts will be funnier in this go about, but this one I certainly think was a little more hysterical than the old one. But we'll try to recreate. Now I gotta go back in the bottle. Woo! And I made this joke like, maybe this will get me my 10,000 followers or what have you, because this glass is very dirty. And I've been creating this persona for hours, so I don't really care. I'm going to drink out of it anyway. And it says Gateway, because love is a gateway drug if I've ever seen one. But I've never done this before. Well, okay, this is the second time I've done it because I did sip it before in the video, but you know what I'm saying. Ceremonially speaking, I haven't done this before. This is my moon water, and I like to bless it and soak it in many full moons. I believe this one has been soaking under about 7 or 8 good ones. I have an older bottle. It's, you know, it's been aging in a barrel. Much more expensive. But this one had many lovely full moons. Full moon. It is full of man. No, full moon soaks, including one that was on Halloween. So it's got quite a bit of extra flavor in it, if you know what I mean. And if you've got any magic in you, then you do. But, yeah, gateway. So I was gonna give myself just a little sip out of this dirty glass, if that helps get me like Wild Woman viewers, because she's so crazy. Look at her go. Refreshing. Tink. Oh, that made a lovely sound. Oh, I like that. Cheers to ya, you Valentine squeaky cheeked so-and-sos. So that's a delicious thing. Just a little experiment in the romantic. The most wondrous experiments are the romantic. Wouldn't it be so cool if I was so good at editing? Because I'm going to include my video when I transformed this guy from Christmas vibes to Valentine's vibes. Wouldn't it be cool if I was so good at editing that I could do the thing where I just go whew, and he's in a different outfit? I'll learn that. I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna hit myself wise to that technological mumbo jumbo, and I'm gonna bring it to you. Oh! This was a little show and tell I wanted to show and also tell you about. It's a lovely Valentine's box. And now I'm even more mad at myself because I got mad at myself in the previous video when I already did this thing that I'm doing now with all the pins and bobby pins and wigs squeezing my brain pan. But I did this and I could not think of this vocabulary word, and now I'm really mad that I had to go dump stuff off of my phone into my computer in those little tiny discs. They make things you're supposed to buy that are quite actually this big, and you're supposed to like keep your life on those. It's so strange to me. I don't really get it. Oh, we've gotten off kilter somehow. Let's get back on kilter, shall we? But now I'm even more mad at myself because I didn't go look it up, and it's this great vocab word for like the past, for antiquities, for man, now it's really killing me. There's random jangly jangles in there. But anywho, it's just a great little Valentine's imagery kind of collage, and I just wish I could think of the damn word. It's just a way better way of saying antiques and bric-a-brac from the past and what is the word? It's one of my faves. Anyway, can't find it. Another little show and tell. Oh, excuse me while I kiss the sky. This guy, slightly out of tune, but I thought still pretty great. For, you know, the harp. The heart beating harp. The thing that lulls you into the dreaminess. It's more creepy than anything, but you know, sometimes love is like that too. Sometimes it's downright creep-tastic. You know, when I was just hitting you with some heady Beethoven for good feels. I feel like I I should be on a mountaintop with this song. Calling in the forces, the 4 horsepower of sheer human desire. Anyway, I wish you'd been back with me before when I was being so clever and I said all the things I already wanted to say. Hurts my heart a little bit, but we're still just gonna get back into it. Okay? Day 45. Jump and jive. Yeah. I brought this for my seating arrangement because obviously, you know, it just seemed very fitting. You've seen it from another video, but you know, the hourglass, the sands of time working with us and against us, to and fro, where it may go, we never know. On Destiny's Playthings. Remember our soap opera we're gonna start? Anybody out there who wants to just throw money at me? I've got 6 jillion ideas, but Destiny's Playthings I think would be so luscious. But I thought this would be a good little seating arrangement to sit on time. Yes. To sit upon time is to invoke the divine. You don't know what you may find with your Huney propped upon time. I have no idea if what I said in the other one was funnier or if I'm funnier now. I'm just trying to bring you quality entertainment. But more than that, I'm here to talk about my sweet pea, my sweetest one. And that's what I was really mad about, because it's like, of course it's on the night that I'm trying to do something really special to honor the best, healthiest, longest lasting, most beautiful romantic relationship I've ever had. So of course, I got through all of this mushy gushiness and brought y'all these sweet sentiments about my sweetheart. And the technology just bit me right in the tuchus. So what are you gonna do? But here I shall present to you once again some stuff and some things and some loveliness about my boo. So, this was my Valentine to him last year, and I got it at the Reno Art Museum, where he's from, in Reno, and I just thought it was so damn cute, because, you know, we all know, any one of us who does laundry knows about the elusive, mysterious sock disappearance, and they become parted somehow, and sometimes they find each other, and other times they go into a strange vortex known as the single sockalypse. Just made that up just now. That wasn't from the old video. I just came up with that. The single sockalypse. I thought it was pretty funny. But this is he and I, and we're dressed quite fancy, really. It's for a music video premiere. That's my prom dress from senior year, too, by the way. But it very lends itself to the Hollywood vibes. So it was a premiere we attended for a series of music videos I'm in. I'm going to shamelessly plug them now, for an excellent band called Whitewater Ramble. And it's a trilogy. I'm in all 3, so it's like you can watch each one on its own. It's a little mini movie, or you can watch them together, and it's like a short movie. But I'm in all 3, and the collective thing together is called A Band Widow's Lament. A Band Widow's Lament by Whitewater Ramble. I'll link it and give you the ways you can see. I'm very proud of it. And we ended up getting nominated for a music video award show in Hollywood, in LA, and my sweet boo went with me, and it was really special because we got to go to Disneyland before the pandemic. Such a great feeling. It's been a while since I did anything that nice for myself, by George. So, got to go there, and, you know, he just got to have a taste of this crazy place that I can't seem to get enough of, but also loathe in many ways. And, yeah, he loved it, except for the parts where he was, like, shaking on the steering wheel, like, how did you ever deal with this? And he's, like, a very even-keeled person, and he would be like, this is insane, and it is. But craziest part of that story is that we won. Like, all these videos that were nominated, there was people from Italy who filmed like over bluffs with like crazy camera equipment circling them over these epic bluffs. And like, the way I describe it is that one or two of the cameras on any of the other music videos that had been nominated was the total budget of our 3 music videos together. And we won best video, like best in show. So he got to see me like give a speech and cry and do what I love, and it was really special, and he just cheered me on the whole dang way, and yeah, it was very emotional and lovely. And got to ride the Ferris wheel, which, if you remember several videos back, I talk about wanting to take myself on a date on spins above the boastful ocean on the Ferris wheel, but it was illegal to ride it by yourself. So I hadn't ridden it with anyone in like 10 years or more, and my sweet one got to go with me, and it was just everything I wanted it to be, really. Very special. Dump, dump, da. So part of this is falling apart, of course, because I'm trying to show it to you. So I'm stalling because I'm fixing it, and that's just how it goes. And I'm also gonna give you some more jammage right before we get to the poem portion. After all, that's what this is supposed to be about. After all. So, this is my surprise to him. I burned myself very badly with hot glue last night making this, so totally worth it because it turned out very well. So, this is from Playboy. Excellent for collaging, just so you know. 1960s specifically. Anything from the 50s to the 80s was some pretty choice shit. But so that's from that, and all these old candy hearts. And it says Big Valentines. Ho ho! And then this saucy lady. Oh boy, yes indeedy. She's got her sword sticking right into love. Ooh, things are getting finicky on me here, guys. I'm trying to... It wasn't quite this awkward in the other video, but that's okay. That's part of it. Sometimes you gotta, like, let your awkward sauce out. So there she is, with her sweet sword. She's just jamming it right into love, baby. Up in the pink clouds. So floofy. She's thinking, like... Maybe. I sort of like your cousin, too, but I'll give you a chance. Anyway, that's just the look that looks like it's on her face. But put the record player on there, because we love to listen to records together, and we like to boogie. I like to boogie. She likes to boogie. Yeah, Billy Elliot fans. But yeah, so included that and some shiny things. And I wrote, so the front says Big Valentines, and says, Big Valentines, how do you do to say love you? Of course, a part of it fell off just now, because guys, this is live. Because we're going live. And so things have to be a little funky, right? And that's just the way. So yeah, big reveal. This is from our very first date. It was, I tell kind of the story in the poem, but basically he was riding this razor's edge decision of whether to return for the summer to wildland firefighting, which he had done for about 3 years. And I'm so glad he didn't. But he was trying to decide whether to do that or go to his aunt's wedding. And his aunt, I like to say was an aunt because it makes me feel fancier, but his aunt was my roommate in Hollywood for a while, and one of my favorite people on the planet, a fellow full-blooded fairy like myself, that we actually went to a festival called Fairy Worlds together because we're both freaking fairies and proud of it. But yeah, he opted to go to her wedding in Portland, where I was a bridesmaid, instead of go fight wildfires like a hero, and I'm so glad because, you know, I think maybe old cuz here had something to do with it, but the second I laid eyes on him, really, I was like, wow, that seems like the kindest and brightest person I've ever seen. And because I've been hurt so much and had been hurt very recently and had a million walls up because of it, I thought, well, it must be fake. It must be an act. Because it seems like any, I don't know, it just goes to show my experience with romance when someone shows this shimmering, lovely, approachable, wonderful self. I tend to think, what are they hiding? And that's hard to admit. I can't believe this thing is just like falling apart on there because I don't want it to, because I want it to just stay. So I'm gonna hold it with my fingers and fix it in a minute. But one of our first dates was, I got stuck in Portland, also kind of explained in the poem a little bit, but my flight got canceled, I got stuck, he stayed with me, and we went to the OMSI Science Museum and saw all these like super uber intelligent robots that knew how to like moon dance and play basketball and fix things and do really remarkable, almost pretty kind of scary things. We went to another art exhibit in Reno that was like epic, unbelievable photography and paintings from Africa, which is his mom had just gotten back from there. So that was one exhibit, and then there was all these knights, like beautiful armor, gorgeous, unbelievable full body armor, and then like swords and crazy intricate swords and guns that had like secret whiskey compartments and secret perfume for a fine lady compartments and swords stuck inside the gun and a place for your dice, and like they were just so intricate, out of these carvings out of bone and gold and gems, and wow. We also goodness bless him, I made him dress up as I forced him to be the Pete Davidson to my Ariana Grande for Halloween, and we effing crushed it hardcore. It was like their famous paparazzi shot. But on that Halloween, when I was fully pantsless with this oversized sweatshirt, as you do when you're Ari, we saw the Wienermobile 3 times that day on Halloween, and it was like we were the only people out being playful. And then we saw it again on a road trip, and it just, yeah, so I got him that sticker. And then these are little Valentines, cute little vintage. This one says, "You're the booty I'm after." And then this cute little weenie one says, "Frankly, I like you." Dang cute is that. Consarn it, that's cute. And then the Silver Saddle Motel here was when we went to Balloon Fiesta in New Mexico. We stayed at the Silver Saddle. Best, like, being put up place I have ever been. Best place I've ever kicked up my cowgirl boots. You know what I'm saying? It was truly, I want to go there every year. I wish I could go now. But it was like one of the last remaining fully the way it used to be back in the day. Roadside motels, like Route 66 style, just old school, baby. So that was incredible, and Balloon Fiesta was one of the coldest things I've ever experienced, just bone-chilling cold, but also fabulous and worth it, and whimsical with all the giant gas-filled balls decorating the sky. You gotta love it. And then just some other cute things we've done together. These are a bunch of tickets and wondrous things we've participated in. If you ever find yourself in Portland, you absolutely must go. You must attend the Peculiarium. Loved it so much I bought a t-shirt. It was like a Andy Warhol soup kind of thing with tentacles coming out that said Peculiarium soup. And it's just all the weirdest and strangest and oddest things you could ever want. Oh my! All in one place. Love it so much. Went to Murder on the Orient Express together, and then I have wanted to go my entire life living in Colorado, but this year we finally went to the Molly Brown mansion where the real unsinkable Molly Brown herself lived, and we went for their Halloween expose involvement. I can't think of words anymore, guys. I've given them all to you. But you know what I'm saying. So it was all Victorian decorated for Halloween and super epic and extremely safe. There was only like 5 of us on the tour, and everybody was masked and polite and giving space and just really, really wondrous. Really glad we did that. So cute things for my boo. Hopefully this whole thing doesn't freaking fall apart by the time I'm trying to give it to him. But yeah, thanks for participating, guys. It's kind of supposed to be a part poetry, part big reveal for my sweet fella, who makes me feel hella special. So yeah, the other thing I have for him is a poem, of course. Isn't that what we're here for, after all? I must sit like a lady, like Aphrodite, you know. Shake a boot fringe first. Yeah, so I have concocted a lovely little poem for him. I want to be closer to you. Makes me feel like you're all my Valentine. Wouldn't that be nice? If we could just get in a right, good, hugging, smooching circle. Wouldn't that be nice to have that ability someday? I'm gonna slowly and mysteriously fade up the music for a little dramatic effect, and then I'm going to fade it out so that y'all can hear me better. So yeah, I wrote a special piece for my sweet Huney. He really did change my life. I'm already at like 30 some odd minutes, and I want to get this done so we can have some tiramisu and coffee, he and I, but he knows what he means to me. But he really did, like, I had gotten to that very dark place where I thought maybe there wasn't room enough in the world for me to be loved the way I want to be, or seen or accepted. I have always had men push me away, tell me I'm too much, tell me it's too big. I couldn't find the poem for yesterday's diving through the mists of Valentine's past. There was one I wrote where I talk about how many, not just a few, many of my lovers have described me as being under dark water. And that's so hard to hear. It's really hard to hear. Because I've always felt like I offer lightness and beauty and encouragement and holding someone up. And I don't know, but I finally accepted myself, and that's one of those cliches people always tell you, right? Like, you gotta love yourself and all that. And I was not letting joy in. I had a lot of walls up to joy, but I did finally make like a definitive decision that I was never going to dilute myself again for any person. And yeah, maybe it's not perfect. Maybe I still do it in ways I don't realize, but at least set this parameter that, like, my life is going to be working to not dilute myself and believe that I deserve love anyway, and not crank the dial down, as I said. So yeah, he lets me be myself. He grounds me. He listens to me weep hysterically about crazy things that don't even make sense sometimes, and he sits and he listens and he really absorbs it and tries to help me move past it, or just take a walk in the sun, you know, or be somewhere else, go somewhere brighter, smell a flower, whatever it is. Yeah, he jostles me out of this persistent darkness I always seem to want to invite back in, or let it pull me farther from myself. And he does a really damn good job of trying to take my hand and lead me away from that. And I'm just so grateful. I'm forever grateful. So tonight's poem is for him, and it's a little bit of a long one, but thanks for joining me with it. And I found this perfect booklet at the last minute and was so happy to find it. It just seemed kind of great. I attached the Venus de Milo on there. But yeah, isn't it a perfect kind of like little fairy tale storybook? I sort of thought so. So, this one is for my boo. It's called The Most Welcoming Blue. I was glued to you, honey. When I first met eyes with him, I knew I'd just discovered the kindest soul I had ever been lucky enough to behold. So I got a burst of bold and composed a little instigation note in the bathroom. My hand was shaking so badly that I couldn't even read my own phone number on the note. The numbers wiggling, scribbling across the tiny sheet of paper madly. But this man's presence had grabbed me so that I had to steady myself and get it right. I found him after the rehearsal dinner at the perfect moment and used some rather obvious sleight of hand to slip the note into his pocket. My eyes were twice as big in their sockets with nerves and fumbling giddiness. He placed his hand warmly over the pocket containing the note. A look of contented bliss enhanced his already gorgeous glow. I knew this human was actually different than the ones before because my deepest intuition told me so. I had been hurt badly by a boy recently who I thought was a man, who was at that moment halfway across the globe. He had overtaken my frontal lobe and I pined for him as though that wasteful pining would reach across the world, knowing full well he already had another girl. Cluelessly following him, I'd gone all in, and he swindled me good. Just when I thought I had withstood the worst of male betrayal, I had lots of walls up around, a wounded heart that felt shriveled and frail. But this prince swept me out of that dark place to set sail on an entirely new kind of voyage. What's that old adage? Good things come to those who wait and wait and wait and contemplate giving up on the whole dang concept after so many unkind, inept lunkheads who committed repeated theft of my heart's gifts. Here was a man who seemed instantly to uplift the best within me. I could feel a long, hidden grin leap to the surface, and I can tell you that, pretty as I looked in my bridesmaid dress, I'd been feeling completely worthless. If my heart was a room, it would have looked like the worst mess. But I stood next to this bright-eyed being, our fingertips almost touching, and I could feel the heavy weight floating off my chest. I asked if he wanted to dance, and I admit it was a bit of a test. After all, what is life unless we dance through it? His shimmer eyes, kind and blue, lit right up, and we cut a rug, scooting in closer until we were as good as snug. I saw a rare moment where everyone was distracted, and I tugged on the arm of his coat. I asked if he wanted to sneak away, and from there I think we both began to float, off to a little swinging bench in a romantic garden nook. We got right to some canoodling, and just like Juliet to her Romeo, I wanted to declare to him, "You kiss by the book." We exchanged mostly long, inviting looks, and admittedly many lip locks. If I'd been wearing socks, he'd have knocked them right off. His soul was so genuine and present and soft and sturdy. We laughed, and I brought all versions of me out, eccentric, passionate, silly, whimsical, nerdy, flirty. I felt light for the first time in the long, miserable stretch of betrayal and clinging on to someone who dropped me so low. My climb out of it was slow, but the gorgeous acknowledgement he showed me allowed me to finally see I had escaped that dreadful place. All it took was the wondrously inviting sincerity beaming from his face. We moved in our enraptured, spellbound pace, and realized quite suddenly we'd embraced the night away, and 3 a.m. was rapidly on its way. So we giggled and fumbled and continued to play with the light in each other's gazes as we said goodnight, and wound through the mazes of little bridges and topiary paths, snagged a few more kisses and a few more laughs. Fast forward to the following day, he didn't know where he was going to stay, and I hurriedly changed my hotel arrangement I had with a friend and added a room to extend this adventure. She was unsupportive and actually tried to sabotage my small window of time with him, but I dove in anyway and let her play her strange keep-away game, trying to shame me for feeling joy. I changed right past I charged right past her twisted ploy to keep me from this treasure, and I'm so glad I did, because that persistent endeavor led me to the most grand and important soul pleasure, true experience of togetherness I have ever had in my life. He's stood by me in times rife with struggle. He's juggled so many of my pains and sorrows while continually laying out beacons of light for me to follow. When I'd suffered in the presence of many men before, their reactions were hollow and absent. But he has spent countless hours comforting me and truly listening. We rode the Ferris wheel above the glistening ocean. We made a great commotion with our child selves at Disneyland. He's held my hand through the hardest challenges and been my biggest, loudest fan. My rare and caring man. The span of this journey we couldn't have foreseen. Looking back, it's like an impossible dream. It was as though we were an instant team. After my friend tried to pour cold water on our steam, another strange and circumstance-shifting scene took place. The internet in the hotel wasn't working, and I awoke to find my flight was canceled, jerking me back into a stressful state. But he didn't hesitate for one moment to offer solutions to my groaning fit. I was on the phone for ages, nearly in a rage, as they told me there was no other flights and nothing they could do. They wouldn't even put me up for the night or follow through. He offered to buy me a flight on another airline, which is something very, very few people would ever do. I thought it over, with very little time to decide, and I offered up, if he was willing to do that, why not just change his flight and join me for an unexpected ride? Much to my surprise, he complied instantly. My impatient friend left with little sentiment, but it didn't matter, because this kind human sent all my stress packing, and we set right to stacking up more dates than I'd ever been on. In fact, I had never been taken on a proper date, and it had been a long, long wait for a man to see me, celebrate me, and appreciate all that I am. We were lucky enough to stay at his cousin's lovely home, and for the first time in a lengthy stretch, I didn't feel alone. We hopped into that romance zone. We saw a robot exhibit at the OMSI Museum, where we saw robots breakdancing and answering phones. We roamed Portland and stumbled totally by chance upon a street fair that made the start of our courtship beyond compare. We were given free stickers and samples and sunglasses as lovely humans offered sentiments of great care, like they were all rooting for us in a movie there. I was dancing. It was dancing and goat yoga and organic and groovy. I instantly recognized the thick veil I'd been using to cover up beauty. And suddenly there it was all around me. Reciprocated energy had finally found me. Our conversations were winding and playful and shockingly easy. There was not one molecule of this man that was put on or contrived or conceited or sleazy. This absolute gentleman delighted and pleased me with southern breakfast praline bacon that changed my whole existence, lavender lattes and brie with macadamia nuts, and saying yes to each idea without resistance or any dull shrugs, just laughter and old books and dancing in the streets and warm hugs. We went to Powell's bookstore, and he was listening to my every comment with his pure heart. So much so that he surprised me by sneakily purchasing a book from one of my favorite series, The Princess of Ozma. He ignited the lava of my heart that had been cold and dormant, and almost instantly I had an inordinate stockpile of hope, when just days before the scope of my positive feelings were microscopic at best. A veil of downtrodden plodding thoughts was lifted, and I felt beyond blessed. And since then, our relationship has survived many a test. He flew to Colorado to care for me and take on 1,000,000 tasks so that I could rest after losing my ovary and going through horribly painful surgery. Every time I try to hang my head low or deliver self-inflicted low blows, he scoops me in his arms, loves and encourages me. He leads me right to the sunlight when I'm pulled toward my old habits of giving in to the bleak. He actually allows me to speak my mind fully. He's not just another bully disguised as a prince who lures you in only to make you wince. He is that prince through and through, and he embodies that not just with how he looks, but with his actions, which are earnest, thoughtful, and true. He led me to a page turn that made the whole world new. He doesn't ever tell me to get over it. He holds on to me and goes with me through it, over it, beneath the scariest parts. Through these past 2.5 years, we have truly joined our hearts in such an empowering showering of love and leaping and support. When I speak of him, I can't possibly keep my reflection short. He patiently sorted through such a jumbled, heaping, needed healing mountain of my self-constructed walls and flaws and snapping jaws of mistrust, and he busted through the whole obstacle course, not with force but with care. And he dared to face all the tripwires I had in place to steadily climb, not race, to the face I'd been hiding, the real me, biding her time under all that fear and soul grit and grime, thinking all the while no one would find me there. But he bared the challenges set forth. With no shield or sword, he thwarted all those protective dragons around my well of love, and he never used force, and he never shoved. Now look at us, all turtle-doved, all deep in that lovey place. We know there's more hardships to face, more case-by-case work to do, complex codes to crack, self-work to improve, but I know we'll move through it all together. He never pulls that "you're too much" lever on me, ripping the floor from beneath me. He never turns his back on my sadness or grief. He leans in. He pins the tattered parts back in place, holds my soul, kisses my face, and always provides a place that feels like home. Anywhere we are, wherever we roam, it's truly a love the likes of which I have never remotely known. A phone number slipped in a pocket bravely was not something I expected to actually save me. I couldn't possibly list all that he gave me just in those first few days. Had I endless scrolls, I could not properly scribe my praises for this man who made me holler, "What in the blazes?" I thought men like this were made up in fanciful cartoons. Wish I could lavish him with gems and gold doubloons this Valentine's Day. But instead, I'll just say, I'm so lucky you're mine, Jake. Like Snow White, I was sleeping through this fantastic world and you kissed me awake. And I want to take a moment to say I'm full of gratitude that your beautiful blue eyes looked my way. Here's to many, many more memorable days to dance, wander, indulge our senses, explore beyond the sensible fences and the dull, to feed our hearts full, escape, and play. Yeah, so that's some lovely, lovey-dovey love there for you, kiddos and kind ones. So I'm going to end you on the thing I meant to do actually for the last few nights. I was going to do it for my, childhood revisitation, communication with former selves little post. Ooh, we're getting drippy here. It's okay. It's all part of it. It's a wet holiday. So I wanted to end it on this bad boy. That's right. We're talking about a ring that makes bubbles. You know it. Pressure's on. You know that pressure you feel when you're trying to get the bubbles and people are watching and you just... Oh yeah, baby, there we go. I just thought it was a good way to say goodnight on Valentine's. So spread love in many ways. Star in your own play. Don't let someone else write it for you. You gotta just ride on through in your own way. Be true to thine self. Blow big bubbles. Pull your heart down off the shelf. It wants to come out and play. And yell hip hip hooray for love. It doesn't have to be the way the TV tells you to be. It doesn't have to be a commercial for a diamond ring. It just can be whatever song you choose to sing. Whatever you choose to bring to the table of love. It's a feast. Not a one glove fits all. It's a ball. and you can wear what you want and dance and flaunt it. You want it? Just grab it. It's love. Bubbles and kisses.